Okay, my favorite SAUNDERS.
Gregory.
Eagle looking great, you're go.
And we're rolling, Gregory.
Greg Saunders!
Wow! Hey, great!
Show us the skills that have made you a media darling.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome, 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 welcome to the Stateline Stateline Show.
Chocolate is vital to survival, my friends. Vital to survival. Listen, dinosaurs, they didn't have chocolate. Look what happened to them. I'm Greg. He's Tom. It is Saturday. It is the 25th day of November, the year 2023, the latest it's ever been
in the history of mankind. Okay, now I got a counter argument here. I'm diabetic. Chocolate supposedly kills me.
That's the right kind of chocolate. This is what you need.
I'm taking my chances. I got candy. I got candy somewhere here.
M&M's hanging out.
Taking my chances. Oh, you bet. M&M's. I got everything. For Thanksgiving, my wife did this thing where I was kind of, my idea was our idea together. Whatever. Put a bunch of M&M's in a jar. She counted them out, and then you had to guess how many. And I told her, "Don't tell me. I want to win them. I want to win them.
Don't give me the answer.
They were my M&M's anyway.
I like
give away my candy.
I like the thing floating around about the favorite casserole to bring to your Thanksgiving gathering. A half a bag of regular M&Ms, a half a bag of peanut butter M&Ms, a half a bag of almond M&Ms. Mix them all together in your pot. Everyone will love it.
Oh, yeah.
I liked it too. Didn't make any of that though. We had plenty of pie, plenty of other good stuff. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We've got a guest to get to. Before we get to him, let's do our big number of the week. Our current race to 10 has Joann leading by a score of 4-3. And this week's big number of the week, it's a big one. It's 1 trillion. 1 trillion. The answer is waste or wear.
Wow.
Waste or wear, and we will give you the answer before the end of the show. Tom and Joann playing for breakfast. You're playing at home for pride.
Waste, W-A-S-T-E, or waste, W-A-I-S-T?
Good call. W-A-S-T-E. Waste.
All right. And then where, I guess I could ask the same question. W-E-A-R or W-A-R-E?
It says E-A-R.
All right. Rhyming with care.
I didn't realize I was doing that, Tom. This is a game where we've got double meanings for both words. So
yeah,
really playing.
All right, I sent you mine already, buddy.
All right, got your text right there. Our guest this week comes to us from somewhere on the East Coast, somewhere. We're going to ask him where he's actually from. The ADA Comply guy is this dude named Tony, who's the original ADA. If there's another ADA Comply guy you've heard about, they're not the original one. This is the original one. This guy's done a lot of cool stuff over the years, especially these last 4, where he's been dedicated to helping businesses become ADA compliant to protect from frivolous lawsuits. What's it all about? Let's find out. Tony, welcome on to the Saturday morning Stateline show.
Wow, great to be here, guys. Thank you so much.
Great to have you. Where are you hailing from today, or normally, I guess you'd say?
I am in North Carolina, right on the shoreline near Wilmington, in a small town called Southport.
Southport, North Carolina. That
Yes.
sounds beautiful to me.
It is.
Cool place to be. How long have you lived there?
Just over a year. We came here from the Raleigh, Wake Forest area.
Okay.
After being there for about 10 years, and originally grew up in New England, up in the north.
All right,
All right.
before we even get started, we've got 23 big degrees. You can't see it. 23 degrees here. What do you got there?
I think it's in the high 40s, so it's warm here.
All right. All right. I was going to say, if you were going to say 65 or 70, conversation done. Either you're gone or I'm gone. One of the two.
It
Just
gets
kidding.
cool here. It gets cool here still.
Sure. Yeah. I don't feel so bad now. You got 40s. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
It may be 70 later today, but right now it's still early.
No,
All
there's
right.
no frost on your pumpkins. There's frost on our pumpkins still here in Northern
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we moved here from Massachusetts, because we had plenty of snow up there growing up. So,
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, what you've done, and how'd you find yourself to where you are now.
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I can go all the way back to when I was a teenager. I was involved in Boy Scouts and had the opportunity to work with a troop of disabled boys. And I think that's really where it first started for me. Really enjoying helping people who needed a little bit of extra help. People sometimes have the wrong idea about people with disabilities, that they can't do things. It's not that they can't do things. It's just that they need certain tools, or they need help doing things. And to be that person, to be there for them, really gave me a big satisfaction. And a quick little story of one of the boys that were in the troop. His name was Tommy, and he and I got to go winter camping together for a whole week. Both of our troops went together, freezing cold weather in the snow, all week long. We even made an igloo and slept in it one night. And he really taught me as much as I taught him that week, and really got to know him as a person, and really great person. And really inspired me throughout the years to really give back and help people with disabilities, which I've done throughout the years. Owning my businesses, always had a philanthropic arm of giving back to people with disabilities with United Way, Special Olympics, and other organizations. And so, after being in IT for about 30 years, and then, also helping people with disabilities, coming across this need in the internet, and I connected with a developer who was putting together software years ago to start making websites more accessible to people with disabilities. I really found a calling in this, and really knew it was a mission that I had to be on. So that's really how I got my start in this, kind of by accident, where putting two of my passions, helping businesses and in IT, and also helping people with disabilities, really came together as a calling for me.
That's cool. So growing up in Massachusetts, was there a kind of a specific moment that kind of hit you, that you realized that this was kind of your calling to work in this field? Or are you just more IT driven in the first place, and then this just kind of showed up later?
It kind of showed up later, probably about 3.5, 4 years ago. I was already living in North Carolina. I was, I went back to corporate America for a few years working, but I had my own side business, doing, IT work for people. And I came across this developer who I was working with on a certain project. We were actually putting together a fundraising app for our local schools in North Carolina when I met this developer. And when COVID hit, that project kind of got scrapped because we were working with local schools. And then he was telling me about this other project he was thinking of doing. And I said, I am 100% on board with that. Let's talk. And it just kind of evolved into software. And now we have a complete solution, which we can talk about, that really helps businesses become, not just accessible, but ADA compliant in the eyes of the law to, help businesses as well.
Okay. So when you say, is your website ADA compliant? I know Tom and I were talking before the show. It's like, I'm kind of curious what that all really means. I've got your website up here on the screen, and the Americans with Disabilities Act requires businesses to make accommodations for people with disabilities. We know that. But this next part, web content being accessible to the blind, deaf, and those who must navigate by voice. That's I'm curious just what the particulars are of that businesses maybe completely ignore through no fault of their own. How do they jump onto this and make it work?
Well, I mean, you hit the nail right in the head. A lot of businesses don't even know, about this. And a lot of people are familiar with the ADA, whether they're familiar with it or not, with handicap accessible parking. And, you'll see ramps in places of, physical locations of businesses for people with wheelchairs or accessible bathrooms and things like that. Those are all things that have been put in place by the ADA over the years. But, website and digital ADA accessibility is really somewhat new and still kind of the Wild West of ADA, because people, businesses don't realize that they put up a website, and a lot of times these websites aren't accessible to people, with seeing and hearing disabilities. But also there's lots of cognitive and physical disabilities, things like epilepsy or ADHD or autism. Even color blindness. Those are things that when people go to a website and they can't navigate it properly, 9 times out of 10, they're going to go somewhere else. And the sad thing is, right now, only less than 2% of all websites worldwide have any kind of accessibility on them. So it makes it really difficult for people who, may be homebound because they are disabled, can't get out to the store. They can't go online and shop like people, other people do who may not have that same disability. So we're really trying to bring awareness around, the need for disability or accessibility in the digital world, because more and more people, especially after COVID, we all know more and more people are going online, they're shopping, they're doing their things online, more and more every single day. So it's really becoming more important every single day that we're living. It becomes more and more important as we get more and more onto the internet and relying on it for everyday life. It's a lot more than it was even 4 years ago, as it is today.
This is really, really interesting. You have no idea how close and near and dear to my heart this is. I was in a motorcycle accident almost 20 years ago now. Really, really, really messed me up. I'm permanently got a steel rod and screws in here, my foot, everything else. Okay, fine. Got handicap accessible parking. I have the grandmother on my daughter's side. Long story on that. My daughter married into a family with 3 girls. She is blind. I have some questions about this. We don't have time for all of this today, so maybe I'll go to the website. I'm pretty sure that's what I'll end up doing. She has had a devil of a time getting a phone that she can use because she's blind, a touch phone where she can let people come into her building where she lives. It's ridiculous how inept some of these places are. My wife was trying to make the phone call and say, no, I need a phone that she can access. Well, all she has to do is punch 6 on her phone to let people in. No, it's a smartphone. You don't understand. She can't navigate that. Anyway, I have a sister who is mentally challenged. She competes in the Special Olympics. I took care of a quad for 6 years. All of these things are coming to mind. I've got 100 questions. I'll stick to about 30 or 30. No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to let you know how important I feel this is, because people don't realize how they're affected by this. They don't realize This is a great service you're providing. So I'm completely enthralled here, and I'm checking out your website. One other thing that I have to ask, I may not get a chance to, handicap accessible door handles. I hate them because I have a jacked up left hand. I can't navigate them. I can't push it down and pull it. It doesn't work. I'm the exception. I get it. I know, because for somebody who's got working arms, they can easily do it. It doesn't work for me. Is there another solution? I know that's not part of what you do, but I just wanted to put that out there. So I'll shut up now.
Did you have a question in there, Tom? That was...
Oh, I don't know. No, I really didn't. I just more or less wanted to make a statement. But my question really did kind of center around Gina with the phone thing. How we would go about that, but you don't have to even answer that because you probably don't have an answer.
Well, the short answer is, with the internet, being on mobile devices, mobile accessibility for websites is a big thing of what we do, just to make sure that, not only is a website going to be accessible on your computer, but also most people use their phones for navigating the web. So that's a big part of being accessible, is making sure that the mobile ability of a website is done properly as well.
Yeah.
A lot of voice activation, and we're getting into this age where voice activation is available on almost everything. So making your smart device something that can be completely voice controlled, I imagine is a thing right now.
I see it all the time too. I just got a new smartphone, and the Siri navigation is getting better, and AI is playing a part in it. Although AI still isn't taking over, everything that we need for, good accessibility. But it is helping in some ways, definitely.
Yeah.
So people go to your website and they look up what you've got going on here. You have, bring this back up again. You've got, what is the cost of not having an ADA accessible website for your business? I guess when it comes to businesses, what is kind of the first thing you're telling people that they really need to make sure they've got in place, A, to be compliant, and then B, to get more business that they are just completely missing because they're not compliant?
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to businesses to becoming accessible and actually becoming ADA compliant. And the two are, they go hand in hand, but they're not synonymous. They're not exactly the same. So being accessible could be anything from having closed captions on a video, to making sure that, your alt text is properly done in your websites, which is, pretty much the description of graphics on a website, to providing different tools on your website to, somebody with epilepsy, they can click a button with our software that would stop all motion graphics and dim the screen to help somebody with epilepsy, or somebody with dyslexia. They can click a button and all of the fonts on the screen would change to a dyslexia friendly font, just things like that. Those are some of the things that we help businesses become aware of that they can easily do. So that way they can be more accessible. To be ADA compliant, that really falls in the realm of the legal system. So the Department of Justice, they are the governing body of the ADA, which is the civil rights law that was enacted in 1990 by then President George Bush. But over the years, being in the internet realm, the Department of Justice really hasn't caught up with exact rules for this. So the law is that you must provide accessibility to be ADA compliant, but they leave that in the hands of the circuit courts around the US. And so the circuit courts are the ones that go out, or are the ones that look over the court cases that come to them. And there's a lot of court cases over the past couple of years, because unfortunately, there's a lot of enterprising attorneys out there that are taking advantage of this law, going after businesses, by the hundreds at a time, saying your websites are not compliant. You must comply. And if you, either settle with us out of court or pay the fine, the ADA fine can fine people on average of about $55,000 per incident, and is crippling some small businesses in the process. And so, that's one of the
Right.
things that we're trying to be aware of and looking at what the courts are looking for to be ADA compliant. And that's how we built our solution around that. We utilize some software, but we also utilize a team of certified professional auditors that go in, audit a website, take a look at what is necessary, and then we apply those things as well. So, there's a lot that goes into being ADA compliant, but the first start for any business is to provide some kind of accessibility tools so that way they're able to reach a broader audience, because a lot of things, there's about 25% of the population of the US has some kind of disability. And so, any business that's out there spending their marketing dollars, 25% of every dollar they're spending is wasted. Because even if they get that person to the website, chances are they won't convert, they won't become a customer because they're not going to stay on the website. So providing accessibility is really first and foremost going to help you, reach a much larger audience. The other great part of it that a lot of people don't realize is that there is government funding to pay businesses to become compliant. There is a $5,000 a year tax credit, which is a dollar for dollar refund of up to half of everything you spend each year in marketing. So basically, in a nutshell, that comes down to if a business spends $10,000 a year in marketing, they can get back $5,000 of that in their tax return. So what we're doing is we're utilizing this and helping businesses see their ADA compliance as a marketing tool, because we can come in and show them, how we can incorporate accessibility, and then show them all the money that they're already spending, say on their website and their build. Now that the website is accessible, the website expenses become eligible for all these tax credits. And Facebook marketing, if we can inject accessibility into that, becomes eligible for all this marketing. So we're out there helping businesses, get money back for marketing they're already spending and growing their business by reaching a much larger audience. So there's a lot of benefits, that businesses can really reap by using ADA accessibility.
Is there a
That's,
grace? I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that's the good part of this whole thing is becoming compliant isn't just about becoming
Right.
compliant. It's about actually picking up more customers because you're going to be able to serve these folks.
Absolutely. It's a great way.
My question was going to be, is there some sort of a grace period? Like, for instance, let's say I have a website and I find out, and this is the first time hearing about all of this, and I find out, oh my goodness, I'm not ADA compliant. Am I going to get levied with a fine, or will they say, well, you have 3 months to fix it, or something like that?
Well, the grace period that most people don't realize ended in 2015. It is a required law by almost pretty much every business out there that provides a product or service online to be compliant. So if you were to receive a letter from one of these, attorneys firms that are going after small businesses, your question is valid because there is no lead time. If you receive a letter, you either go to court and try to fight it. And if you're not accessible, then you're probably looking at some of the heftier fines. So what these attorneys are doing is saying, settle with us out of court for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 and go get your website compliant, because you can be sued again if you're not. So this is what they're utilizing this law very unfairly, I must add, to businesses, instead of doing it the right way and saying, hey, you aren't compliant. Our client, couldn't access your website. Please go get it done. Otherwise, there may be future repercussions in the near future. So this is the way that it should be done, but it's not, because it's basically a payday for some of these lawyers. That
I was going to say, you don't have to respond to this, but basically they're ambulance chasers is what they are. It's the way I see it. You don't have to respond. I don't want to get you in trouble or anything like that.
Well, I disagree with it the same way. I mean, and there's a lot of ADA advocates out there that agree this is the wrong way of going about it. And that's why, what we've done is we started, as you see on the screen there, the Web Accessibility Awareness Foundation is another arm of what we're doing, is a nonprofit. And all we're doing with the nonprofit is raising funds to bring awareness to this. So we're creating public service announcements and things to help businesses. So it becomes an everyday thing that most businesses, when they start up or they build a website, or even web agencies, don't know about this. So we're trying to bring awareness to web agencies so that when they build websites, they automatically
and any tools that you use.
Right.
Yeah, any tools you use to bring
Well-
awareness is a positive, and I think it's wonderful. I'm just aggravated when people of the system, the ignorant or the naivete or whatever, don't understand what's going on, and all of a sudden they get hit with something. That just seems wholly unfair. So God bless you for what you're doing, because otherwise a lot of people are yeah.
So when you go to adacomplyguide.com, you're going to see up here, book a call. Click on book a call, and you're going to get this easy screen to fill out and set up a time to talk with Tony and find out just what's going on with your website and if it can be made to be compliant or if it already is. And you got a 30-minute info session with Tony. Is this something that you do basically over Zoom or something like that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And is there anything else that we didn't ask you about today that you want to make sure we touch on about what you guys, what you are offering to businesses?
No, I mean, we covered a lot in a very short period of time. So I really appreciate the opportunity to, if we can just reach one more business, or, a handful, then we're doing something. Every business counts out there. And so, especially with today being Small Business Saturday, go out and support your local small business. And, we're out there helping businesses and the disabled community at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Emily Bisson today. She's the one that connected us. We were in a Grow Your Network Zoom networking meeting. Gosh, it's been a couple of months ago now that we did that. And Emily's got a great thing going that she originates out in the West Coast, but covers the whole country and the whole world, really. We've had people from other countries be a part of our Grow Your Network Zoom virtual networking group that she does for 1 hour a month, and always asks great questions and gets people talking and meeting people from around the world. So I appreciate her for connecting us. And again, anybody that wants to connect with Tony, I got in the chat the link to adacomplyguide.com, and you'll see right at the top there's a contact button so you can fill out an easy form and connect with Tony and get your questions answered. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Have a great Christmas, and we'll probably catch up with you again in the new year.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
We'll see you.
There's Tony out there in North Carolina, the ADA Comply guy. And Joann is sitting by, but she's not at her camera, so I won't bring her on yet until she's there.
You think he was a Patriots fan? I was going to ask him if he was a Patriots fan.
Of course he is.
Whether Belichick should go
He's
or
from
not.
Massachusetts, so he's got to be a Patriots fan, right? Absolutely.
You've got to be. Yeah, probably a Boston Celtics fan. Too.
Should Belichick be let go after this season, Tony? Do you think he should be gone? No, he wants to. I'm seeing him shake his head. He's still on the.
Oh, he's still on there.
On the down screen there. So he's a Patriots fan, and he still wants Belichick to stay. Joanne's
right.
ready to let Belichick go, though, right, Joann?
Good morning.
Hi, Joann. How was Turkey Day for you?
It was fine.
Good.
I only wanted to say that if you know a single person, please invite them to your Thanksgiving. There's a lot of people. I mean, everyone said, "Oh, it's just a Thursday," but for single people, that's a bad holiday because it's family orientated and just
open up the house.
Remember your single people. How about that?
Well, I always ask people, "Hey, what are you doing on Thanksgiving?" And most of the time they'll say, "Oh, I'm going over to my cousins or over to my aunt."
They have plans, because I have a few single people who stayed home alone, and that should not happen.
Yeah. See, maybe this is a good opportunity for something like some sort of a group, not a focus group, a group where people can get together for, like Friendsgiving. Yes. Somebody started Friendsgiving. That's what I was looking for. And maybe you start a group like that and invite people to come in and, hey, we're all doing Thanksgiving at this location. If you want to come. Don't have to know anybody in the group. You just come and we'll all become friends. So maybe that's something we should all think about for next year.
Definitely
at your table.
Definitely encourage people too that are able to volunteer. If you find yourself alone at Thanksgiving, find a place to volunteer. There's always a rescue mission and stuff like that where there's people that are.
Yep.
We'd be happy to have your help for a couple of hours and serving up potatoes or just doing something to clean up tables and greet people.
I
and
had a
and
good
welcome to
Thanksgiving, so my daughter always
That's good.
includes me, and I was at her father-in-law's house. So
Cool.
So
We had 21 people over.
I don't think we had that many. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
well,
You could
my
have-
family
you
with my
could
3
have had
kids.
another person not even noticed it.
Yeah. Well, with my kids, I have 3 kids, and then all the grandkids, and my neighbor next door, my neighbor across the street, they came over. My brother-in-law and his wife came over. So we had a decent sized gathering. I was happy with it, and I got to watch some good football.
we'll have to definitely talk some football at the end of the show today because that was
We watched it after because they didn't want to. I don't know what time the game was on, but they recorded it, and no one could look at their phones
Ah,
to find out the score beforehand.
well, we eat late. We always eat around 4:00, and it turns out it was 4:45 before we started eating, which was fine with me because I did all my cleaning earlier. Here's the deal: at my house, the girls will all do the cooking. They won't let me in the kitchen, and for obvious reasons, because you don't want me in the kitchen anyway. But I'm the one that cleans. I mop, I clean the bathroom, I straighten the furniture, I set up the tables, I set up everything. I had all my stuff done pretty much by the start of the game. I was doing a little bit of watching the game and cleaning, at halftime or whatever. And it worked out well. Game was over. People weren't even there yet. And it was just such a good day. And then the football game I switched channels, football game, switched channels again, football game. It was great. It was a great day.
Tom's kind of day.
We were so satisfied after that Packer game. We didn't even care to watch the other football
Yeah, I
games.
wasn't
We were
really
just
into them. That's a really good point because I was on cloud 9 the whole day. We beat Detroit. Or Detroit can't buy a win on Thanksgiving.
That was a good day. We were in Wisconsin at my sister's place and had a great time with my dad was there, my mom and her sister, my aunt. I get to see a couple times a year, so it was a wonderful family gathering, and I won the card game this year. So hey, go me! We play a game called 31, and everyone played. Everyone in the house played pretty much except for my brother-in-law. I think he fell asleep after dinner. But everyone else played the card game, and I ended up being the winner this year. So what does that mean for my future? Absolutely nothing.
What did it mean for your pocketbook? That's the better question.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
no, that's not an answer.
Well, it's a game we play with nickels. So yeah,
Okay.
if you win a pocket full of nickels, good for you, right? It all goes back in the
so you
bank.
won $7.
We've gotten to the point now where none of the kids are so young anymore that they get a thrill out of winning all the money. They're just tokens. It doesn't matter what we play with. Everyone gets 3 tokens, and we just happen to use nickels. But back in the day when the kids were younger, when the kids were still, teens, preteens, and it made a difference for them to win a few dollars worth of change, that was a little more thrilling.
You could win candy
Exactly.
corn. That would work.
I'd take
for
the
me.
candy corn. That works for me too.
Yeah.
Hey, as far as some shout outs that I got for this week before I get to our SMS info, Hot Rod Nelly's. Have you been to Hot Rod Nelly's in Pecatonica yet?
I've heard of it. I've
They've
never
got a
been
cool
there.
outdoor thing, but they also have a very big indoor thing. And we went to Hot Rod Nelly's last weekend to see my wife's coworker's band called Hank's Neighbors. I bet you can guess why they call themselves Hank's Neighbors.
King of the
Nope.
Hill?
Their neighbors say, hey,
They are literally where they rehearse. The next door neighbor's Hank, and he hates them, so they called their band.
Oh,
Hank's
wow.
Neighbors.
do I get a point?
All
You get a
right.
point. Yeah, it's kind of like Leonard Skinner, when they named their band after the teacher that told them they were never going to amount to anything. Well, that's what this is. It's Leonard Skinner, only it's Hank's Neighbors, and they were really good. I was not sure what to expect. She's kind of Bonnie Raitt kind of a voice going. It's one gal and 4 guys, and they play a lot of Fleetwood Mac.
What was the place called?
It's called Hot Rod Nelly's.
Okay.
It's out at Pecatonica, right there on 20, on your way if you're going out to Pecatonica.
Okay. All right. I've seen it.
They've got a big outdoor stage.
It's on 20.
So
okay.
it's I'm curious to go back in the summertime when they got outdoor concerts and stuff. But kudos to them. They had a great venue and a good time with Hot Rod Nelly's at Hank's Neighbors at Hot Rod Nelly's.
Cool. Hank's Neighbors. I love that. That's
Shout
cool.
out to WREX this week as well. They did a story on the housing market. Team Sold on Tony, Keller Williams Realty. We had one of my buyer clients from earlier this year on the TV talking about buying a home in McChesney Park. Love Park and McChesney Park are the number 1 and number 2 most competitive markets in the entire state of Illinois. Rockford is number 4.
Wow.
So Rockford, McChesney, Loves Park, 3 of the top 4 most competitive markets to buy a home in. And so we talked about that with Derek Bain, the anchor there at WREX. And they did a little story on the home buying situation, which basically boils down to it's a tough market for buyers because there's so many more buyers than sellers. And home prices continue to rise because of the inventory being so low. So, it's kind of a confusing market because we haven't been in a situation like this before where interest rates go up and yet demand doesn't go down. It really hasn't gone down much at all in spite of the interest rates going up this year. And that really boils down to lack of inventory, buyers that have been trying to buy a home for months and months and still haven't been able to buy one. Hello. So anyway, that was kudos to WREX and to Jim Andrews for putting that all together. Pie Day was Tuesday, our annual client appreciation pie giveaway day, which I wanted to give one to Joann, but she was busy on Tuesday. She couldn't come get a pie.
I was in babysitting.
That's okay. We had 215 pies in our office waiting
for me that I have to still get.
How many were left over?
I don't want to tell you. That's not. Yeah, some people didn't
They
show
took
up.
those to Rockford Rescue Mission.
They all got consumed. Yeah. They all got
okay. That was my question. I couldn't tell us how many were left over. I just want to make sure that they didn't go to waste. I didn't figure they would.
Nothing would go to waste.
No,
he brought it to Winnebago, so to make sure I had a pie.
That's right. While you were watching Hank's Neighbors at Hot Rod Nelly's.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's Pecatonica. Never mind.
But they had a great time reconnecting with a bunch of past clients and hanging out for a couple hours at our office doing our annual Pie Day giveaway. Because of Thanksgiving this week, we did eat out a couple different times to take care of other situations and other preparations for Thanksgiving Day. Shout outs this week to Nunzio's and Lino's. We did Italian twice this week and love them both.
Well, I was going to say 2 of the best. That's 1 and
1A and
right
1B
there.
or 1A and 1A. Yeah, they're both so good.
Yeah.
And so really enjoyed some Nunzio's and Lino's delicious food this week. And then finally, as far as shout outs go, we got to give a shout out to the incredible Byron Tigers winning the state football championship yesterday.
It was a close game.
It was so
it?
close. They only were up 49-0 at halftime and ended up winning by 69-7.
Well, it was close for the first 34 seconds is what I was going to say.
About that long, Tom. It was about, Byron got the ball first and marched down the field and scored. I think it was a 3-and-out. It was either a turnover or a 3-and-out that got the ball right back and scored again. So they were already up 14-0 like in the first 2 minutes. The Byron Tigers this year knew their only challenge was probably going to be Montini, which was last week, and they barely beat Montini. That was 26-24 or
something like that. Yeah, I saw the final score.
It was a last-second touchdown that did it. And here's what I didn't know before yesterday about the Byron Tigers. 2 of their top players are a freshman and a sophomore.
I was just smelling your sweater.
Whoa.
This team's going to be around for a while. As long as they got some big dudes that can block, they're going to be around for a while.
And I believe the kid's name, I think it's Christian Considine. He's Sean Considine's son. And Sean Considine, of course, from the Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl team.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's Christian. I think that's what it is. But
Considine's
anyway.
son is a sophomore, and their quarterback is a freshman, and the quarterback rushed for like 189 and 3 touchdowns in the state championship game. So
Wow.
they have a bright future down there in Byron.
It was kind of interesting. I watched I don't remember what it was. It might have been Scott Leber, I think. But anyway, a little piece on Byron. And they were playing Montini. Montini had like 6 or 7 championships over a big stretch of like 12 years, 15 years. And Sean Considine's son, like I said, Christian, I think, he said, look, we've got our own history. We've had 3 or something like that in the last 10 years. So we've got our own history. So, and as it proved, they're just as good, actually, a little better.
Before there was a Considine assistant coaching and on the field, they did have a good history. Of course, Sean was a part of a state team back.
He was.
Went to high school in Byron. So kudos to them. They're going to have a big celebration tomorrow in Byron. I think it's at 2 or 4. It's in the afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, to celebrate their big victory. 3A champions for the state of Illinois.
Yeah, and how about Lena Winslow?
Lena Winslow had a tough go. For the first time in 16 years, they did not score in the game. They lost 14-0. They ran into a defense that just was incredible all season long. They knew it was going to be a challenge, and sure enough, they just could not get the ball in the end zone. So Lee Win has won 3 state titles in the last 4 or 5 years. So they have their own thing going on.
Yeah.
And they're going to be back again probably. So kudos to them for another.
Yeah. That is so amazing. That is awesome.
We do have some SMS info to share this week, which is unofficially brought to you by AllTrueEyes, the app that enables volunteers to track, verify, and maintain their own community service data for a lifetime. AllTrueEyes, tell a better story, live a better life. Find it in whatever app store you like to frequent. And the Nutcracker, as we talked about, the Byron Theater performance of the Nutcrackers coming up again on December 20th through the 23rd. And tickets are now available. Artistic director Andrew Mahan was on our show recently. Jessica Julian is also part of putting this all together down there in Byron. Speaking of Byron, at the Byron Middle School Theater, that's where the Byron Civic Theater finds themselves. And I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the chat again so you can find easily where to find tickets for the Nutcracker down there in Byron. As far as other stuff going on this week, of course, it's the 11th annual Stroll on State. You're going to Stroll on State today. It's going to be chilly, but the weather's going to be pretty nice. I think they're calling for potential for some snow tonight. And
wow,
if things time out right, this could be very magical, people. This could be very magical because the snow, I think they're expecting it to start falling sometime around 5 or 6, and that's about what time they're going to light up the Christmas tree downtown.
That's like a Hallmark movie right there. You couldn't script it any better.
It's going to be very close. Stroll on State, Rockford Region's kickoff to the holiday season, a free community event downtown Rockford. The parade steps off at 2. That starts everything off. The tree lighting program starts at 5:45. 6:15, they light it up. They got fireworks going on. And, of course, it is also Small Business Saturday. Plenty of small businesses to support in downtown Rockford for the 11th annual Stroll on State holiday celebration. Going to be a good time. George Frederick Handel's Messiah is being performed today and tomorrow at 3 p.m. This is at the Emmanuel Lutheran Church, and it's absolutely free. Messiah representing the quintessential classical music high point of the Christmas season. Handel's inspired setting of biblical texts, a 3-part meditation on the prophecy and fulfillment of God's plan to redeem the world through a Savior. It's an awesome performance. At least 60 voices in their volunteer choir, Baroque orchestra, professional soloists a part of this deal. It's at 3 o'clock today and then again tomorrow at the Emmanuel Lutheran Church on 3rd Avenue in Rockford. The indoor holiday market is going on inside the Rockford City Market. That's today from 2 till 9, all during the stroll on State. Holiday-themed Merry Market in the indoor Rockford City Market building on Madison Street. 2 floors of local vendors, live music, seasonal drinks, and with the chill in the air today, it'll probably be fairly crowded, so be prepared for that. At least it's not going to be like rainy, but yeah, it's going to be a little chilly out there today. Festival of Lights started last night. I drove by that on the way home from my mother-in-law's house. I was tempted to pull in and drive through because it wasn't so crowded last night. But yeah, it'll start to be crowded tonight, I bet. Friday through Sunday, 5 to 11 p.m. And this coming week, Thursday through Sunday. Okay, so Thursday through Sunday is going to be the normal thing for most of the month until the extended hours kick in that week of Christmas. Festival of Lights, Sinisippi Park, right there off North 2nd Street in Rockford through the end of the year. And of course, right across the street from that is the Nicholas Conservatory, and they're all aglow holiday display, which is one of the most beautiful things in all of Northern Illinois. This place is the place to go and see all these beautiful lights, a lot of photo op.
And I say this every year. Why don't you leave not all of them, but some of them on all year, so that when it gets to be 9 o'clock at night in the middle of summer, you have all these beautiful lights, and you can make them solar operated, because they say, oh, it costs too much to light them. Well, one, no, it doesn't, because street lights and everything else, that costs money, and they make them solar. But the downtown area, or that right along North 2nd would be absolutely magical if you could see that all night long.
It's a special deal. It's a special deal, and all aglow.
And then you just keep the same lights up all year round, but then you add the Christmas theme to it. Take that back down in January, but leave those lights up. I just think it would be almost like the Riverwalk in San Antonio or something.
Maybe
like
one of our local solar companies can sponsor it and put up little solar panels to power thing every year. That'd be kind of cool. This is the anniversary. There's a couple of big anniversaries this week. Of course, this is the 60th anniversary of the assassination of President Kennedy. That was November 22nd, 1963. Yeah. A survey found that 61% of Americans believe that others besides Lee Harvey Oswald were involved in the assassination. And as more little bits of information come out over the years, I think that's probably true. Something else.
All you got to do is watch the Zapruder film, and when his head goes back and then his head goes forward, the bullet didn't magically change direction.
I love the magic bullet theory.
Yeah.
I watched some of the shows. I was 10 years old when he was assassinated, and it was something that struck me. I mean, I thought he was the handsomest man I've ever met. So I never met him, but supposedly it was a Secret Service gun that went off accidentally that killed him.
Yeah. It appears 2 or 3 different angles had a shot.
And he died the next year, so there's no one to.
Oh, that Secret Service person.
Yeah. And then, of course, Lee Harvey Oswald, 3 or 4 days later in a jail cell.
The first murder ever recorded on live TV.
That's
right, Jack Ruby. And Jack Ruby was a member of the mafia. There was CIA connections. And a lot of people think that Lyndon Johnson had something to do with it. He was in Dallas that day. President and vice president
and
are never
that's the
supposed to be in
weird
the
thing
same
I thought
location.
when I was listening to it. Usually they don't have both the president and vice president in the same city on the same day.
Yeah. Well, in more happy anniversary news, it's the 40th anniversary of the release of the movie A Christmas Story. The holiday comedy classic, released in November of 1983, earned about $2 million its first weekend. It's based on a book by Gene Shepard titled In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash. That's actually the name of the story, A Christmas
Yeah.
Story. Shepherd
I love that. And Gene Shepard, I believe, was the narrator
yep,
in that.
makes a
in
brief
that movie.
appearance in the department store
Yep.
scene.
Now that's how many
there-
years?
40 years.
Okay.
40 years ago.
Elf was
Wow.
50 years. The movie Elf.
Elf?
Yeah.
Not with
Oh, the
Will
Elf,
Ferrell.
okay,
No.
'cause, yeah, the Will Ferrell's Elf only like
Okay.
20 or 30 years.
Oh, maybe I got that. Maybe
Yeah,
it's 25.
barely, yeah.
I don't know.
Here's the important thing.
Probably
The important thing
25.
about Christmas Story, and we all know this to be true, the leg lamp. The leg lamp was the star of the show. They made 3 leg lamps. None of them survived. They're all gone.
That's 20 years.
20 years ago, they did
Yeah.
Elf. Okay. The movie A Christmas Story was actually shot in 2 different snowy destinations. One was Cleveland and the other was Toronto.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah. The movie doesn't take place in Cleveland, though. The city was meant to be a stand-in for Arthur Gene Shepard's hometown in Indiana. But anyway,
Right. And the reason their address was Cleveland Avenue or Cleveland Street or whatever. And I believe that was an homage to Cleveland, Ohio, where it was actually filmed.
one of those Christmas movies you probably try to catch every year. Christmas Story, Elf, Polar Express. I don't know. What is your favorite? It's a Wonderful Life is the one that has to be watched every year before New Year's.
Love that movie. My favorite, though, is probably A Christmas Story. I don't care for Elf. I think Will Ferrell is the biggest overactor ever, and I realize that's part of his shtick. I
Elf
get it.
is my favorite
But he
movie.
drives
I'm
me nuts.
sorry. I love Will Ferrell, and I just love,
Yeah, I'm just not a
sing-
Will Ferrell
sing
fan.
Christmas stories loud and clear. I mean, I love Elf. Just watched it last night,
Yeah.
and on TM. I always get things right. It's on for 24 hours, so catch it today.
Oh, TNT or
I think
TBS,
it's
one of the two.
TBS. It's on
It's
for
TBS.
24 hours, so you can
TBS
catch
probably.
it sometime today. And they aren't even
I
paying
might do that. I
anymore.
might actually do that. I don't hate Elf. I thought the movie itself was great. I just don't like Will Ferrell, so I can get past
Most of his
that a little
movies I'm
bit.
not a fan of, but Elf I do love a lot.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily talk a lot of politics on this show, but I think it's worth noting what Argentina did. Argentina just elected this libertarian outsider named Javier Milei. He was elected president this week. He's a far-right economist, no experience in politics. Sounds a little bit like someone that we elected a few years ago here. He pledged
Yeah.
to take the struggling in a completely different direction. He says he's gonna replace the peso with the U.S. dollar. He's gonna shut down the central bank of Argentina. All kinds of different things. We think we've had it bad here with inflation. They've had 140% inflation in Argentina.
Wow.
It was going the way of the Weimar Republic, the way they were going. So they needed some radical change for sure.
This is why certain people calling for change and really truly standing up to their word and meaning change get elected, because the people are tired. They're like, you know what? Done with the old, bring in the new. So
hopefully he's got a lot of protection, because he's going to be a marked man down there in Argentina.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding? In corrupt Venezuela? Yeah, I hope he does have some protection. And I hope
he's in
protection.
Argentina, not Venezuela. He's in Argentina.
Oh, Argentina. Okay. Well, they're interchangeable.
They're pretty close.
But yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You did say Argentina.
All right. Some other things really quick that you probably did not know yesterday, but you'll know now. Amazon is going to start selling Hyundais on their website.
Oh my goodness.
Amazon and Hyundai have teamed up. Their local dealerships will be the ones that complete the deliveries. But yeah, watch the number of Hyundais drastically increase on the roads. If you haven't already, watch the number of them increase on the roads here in the next few years, thanks to being sold on Amazon.
I'm sorry, but I want to sit in a car and I want to make sure I can feel comfortable in it. I want to make sure it's ergonomically set for me, so I don't bang my head every time I make a left turn. You know, because there are cars that is like, why did I buy this car?
They're pretty
And those
small.
are after you. Yeah.
A viral video this last week on TikTok, which I'm not on, showed a woman posting her Stanley water bottle survived a car fire and still had ice inside, unmelted.
Wow.
So the bottle
That's
company
unreal.
has the bottle company, Stanley Water Bottle Company, has said they're going to replace her vehicle for her.
Wow.
Yeah. The other thing that Stanley water bottles do, they're the wide ones. You can fit an entire pint of Ben and Jerry's in there. It's perfect to hold your ice cream. Most
Keep
pints
your
inside.
ice
And it
too.
stays cold.
It is cold. Frontier Airlines, they're continuing an all-you-can-fly program next year. Passes go for $499. There's a whole lot of limiting terms. It's tight booking windows, and there's 65 different blackout dates. But for $499, if you don't mind flying Frontier, it
Pretty
might
darn
not
good.
be a bad deal. Shout out today to Dolly Parton. I did not watch this show, but she did the halftime show at the Dallas Thanksgiving Day football game. Did you know she released a rock album this week?
Yes.
A rock album with 21 cover songs, 9 original tunes, collaborations with Paul McCartney, Joan Jett, and others. She now has 48 studio albums, and as of June, according to Forbes, worth about $550 million, but worth billions, if not trillions, in the hearts of her fans. Don't bite Joann, Jorge.
Yeah. It said Jorge.
Oh, Jorge wouldn't do that. Oh.
Who is
So-
this?
Well, I'm listening to Greg yet. This is Estrella. She's going to her forever home today.
That's right.
Hi, Estrella.
That's right.
So Dolly Parton has over 3,000 songs. Her song catalog alone is worth over $150 million and generates between $6 and $8 million in royalties every single year.
We have a team that their team name on Monday nights is In the Lead by 5. So their theme song when they win is 9 to 5 because it's got 5 in it. So I play it at least once a month at least.
Like it.
Yeah.
All right. Last shout out for the week this week before we do all things pause. Casey McIntyre. Maybe that's a name you've heard, maybe not. She was a 38-year-old book publisher, mother of one, and she has helped wipe out more than $30 million in unpaid medical bills for other people without even being alive to see it.
Wow.
Casey
wow.
McIntyre's husband, he posted a message on her behalf after she died of ovarian cancer a couple weeks ago. He was asking people to participate in something he called a debt jubilee, pays off medical bills of others. And the response, as of this past Sunday, the nonprofit RIP Medical Debt has received more than $300,000 in donation through the campaign. Now, the way it's set up, they're able to relieve $10,000 of medical debt for every $100 that's donated. So that $300,000 equals more than $30 million in unpaid medical bills being completely wiped out and abolished. So kudos to Mr. McIntyre on behalf of his late wife and the amazing things that they are doing with the RIP Medical Debt Program. So that was really, really cool. And those are your shout outs for this week. But next week's an in-crowd week, just so you know. Next week's an
one
in-crowd
more
week.
thing about Dolly Parton. She does
Yeah.
a book program for children 3 to 5 that sends a book, I think, every month to children. And
Is it the entire state of Tennessee or is it just
well,
the-
I think it's all over. I think you just
Yeah.
have to I don't know. But my daughter was talking about, because she gets her preschoolers involved in it, and so they get a book every month from Dolly Parton. So, and they're very nice books.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
She's got some amazing things that she's done
you know,
over the
for
years.
the literacy program that she does. I think it's great. I love Dolly Parton.
Well, December
Who
6th is a
doesn't, you
Wednesday night. We gotta love Dolly. December 6th is a Wednesday night. We're going to be at Wild Cherries in Belvedere for the annual In Crowd fundraiser event, In Crowd Networking Group. This year is being this event being put on by Elevated Health Essentials in Rockford on State Street. What Dr. Chris and his wife Elizabeth are doing there is amazing, and they're taking this on as the big fundraising event for In Crowd, December 6th, 5:30 p.m. Wild Cherries in Belvedere. Mark your calendar and please try to be there. Bring some cash and be a part of the fundraising event as we raise money for Mosaic.
So that's
in
next. No, that's not next week. It's the week
in a couple
after.
weeks. Yeah, next Saturday we'll have them on to talk all about it. So
Okay.
it'll be an in-crowd guest week next week on the show. You've got Estella in your lap, but Estella's spoken for.
Yes, she is spoken for. She is going to her forever home today, we hope. Although she's
Yay!
attached to me, so it'll be.
It'll be traumatic.
I'm gonna cry real tears because I really love this little girl. It's a
Mhm.
mutual love. So
PAWSHS.org, folks, if you want to check out all things PAWS. You're going to send me a PAWS pet of the week
Yes.
too soon. Do you know who it is?
well, no, we always, but the funny thing was the Persians that we posted last week, Kendall was her name. Her two girls got adopted, but she didn't get adopted. So the magic of our program didn't quite work. So
Well, it got close.
yeah,
2 out of 3 ain't.
both her daughters got adopted, but not her. And then
Okay.
next Saturday, also December 2nd from 11 to 2 is our
Oh,
pet photos with Santa to benefit PAWS
yes.
at the Village Green, North Main.
And I have there it is. There's the graphic. I knew I brought this on before. Saturday, December 3rd, 11 to 2. Bring your pet to Village Green,
December
North Main.
2nd.
Photos. Santa. How about that?
No, it's she's right. It's December 2nd. Because the 3rd
But it
is
is
Sunday.
Saturday.
So it's the
Okay.
Saturday.
The graphic's wrong, but the day is right. It's a week from
Graphic is wrong?
today.
Oh. That's like
Yeah, the
that's
graphic says December 3rd, Saturday. And I know December 3rd is the Sunday. I'm doing a trivia event that day.
Yeah, because I have the one I have, it says Saturday, December 2nd. Sorry.
Week from today at Village Green.
Whatever. It's
Be
Saturday,
there.
so don't go on Sunday or you'll be disappointed.
You'll be disappointed. Yes.
And the Santa is like awesome. I mean, I think he's the real Santa. So I really do.
He loves his pets. He loves the pets, and
He's wonderful.
not everybody can do it.
So do you want to do a tour?
If you want to, we're kind of late in the game, but if you want to do a quickie tour,
It seems
maybe
to be our
when we have good guests, Joann, we like to talk to them longer than the 5 minutes we give them. So we had a good guest today who wanted to talk more than 5 minutes, and it went really well. So we're going to run a little bit late today. That's all right.
Oh,
we can deal with that.
Estrella jumped down.
We'll just put you in the big screen. Come on.
You know, this
In the big
is
screen.
kind of like one of the sad ones. I'm got too much of a background here. Kawasaki got adopted and came back.
Oh,
So
Kawasaki.
yeah. And here's another Estrella, but I don't see. Oh, she's probably hiding. Estrella is the brown tabby kind of hiding in the. We get to see how friendly they are to dogs. And here's our list. I mean, it's November 25th, so we're getting close to the end of the month. Well, look at the number of cats that were adopted.
Wow.
You have seen so many cats this month.
It's just awesome.
Way to go, everybody.
So, keep it going. We've got, the more cats we can adopt. I'm going to put, whoops, I didn't do that very nicely.
And darkness fell upon the PAWS Humane Society headquarters.
Sorry. Did I?
They forgot to pay their light bill.
That was kind of good because you didn't see me put Estrella in the cage. Look at this.
Okay. Yep.
This is a good view of the Siamese cat. Oh,
It
she's
looks
not
like a
quite
pug back there.
I know from this angle, it's like, is that a pug?
Oh,
No,
no.
it's a
Okay.
Siamese.
Yeah.
Blythe.
funny.
Is her name. I think there's 2 cats in here, but the other one is more hidden.
It looks like this.
There's your
I think
pug.
There's my
both
pug.
Siamese.
That's right.
This is not a brown.
I got all kinds
Right.
of animals over here. I even got his little brother. 2 pugs.
They
pugs
said
are
this
better
is
than
a
one.
big cat. They said the family didn't have time for him, but they sure did feed him. Her name is Ryan. I can't imagine not having time for a cat.
Oh.
They did feed her though, because she's kind of needs to do a little more exercise. Don't tell her I said that out loud. Got quite a few that aren't available that I'm walking by. So these are a pair.
Comfortable chair waiting for some volunteer to come hang out.
I love the quilt. Oh, look
Yeah,
at,
no
look
doubt.
at this pose.
Oh.
Pick me, pick me.
What is her name?
I'm the one.
His name is Ira.
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 And then
Yeah.
here's a little bit of older kittens. We've got a lot of kittens here. So if you want a kitten in your stocking,
Okay.
I love this one.
Oh.
This one looks extra playful.
Mm-hmm.
I bet I could climb up your Christmas tree and tear it down in one
Oh,
fell
that's
swoop.
right. Ruin all those Christmas balls.
We were talking last night about how to secure Christmas trees so that cats don't tear them down.
Did they figure it out?
Well, there's a couple different ideas floating
The
around there. as
easiest
what to do.
solution is just to spray some unfriendly cat odor at the base of it. He'll never go near it.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing? They
Sure.
some
Well, whatever
cats.
they don't.
This
yeah,
is
whatever.
Lenny Squig. No, this is Squiggy. Lenny actually got adopted. So this
Oh, wow.
is Squiggy and his sister. So remember the 5 we had? There's only 2 left.
Here's a trivia question for both of you. What were Lenny and Squiggy's last names?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
They
It had to be something
brothers,
Polish,
were
right?
They were
They?
both Polish. They were not brothers, no.
Warshawski.
No,
I
Leonard
don't
Koznowski and
Koznowski.
Wigman Domansky.
know. I knew they were skis. I just didn't know what they
Yep.
were. Oh, that's great. Never would guess those. I never. Yeah,
I
Lenny
don't
and
think
Squiggy.
I
That's
ever
all.
knew it.
Laverne and Shirley, and then
And they
was
were
it Shirley Delphine?
and they worked at a brewery in Milwaukee.
Laverne
Right.
and Shirley did Shots Brewery. Yeah, Laverne was DeFazio and Shirley was Feeney.
Feeney, not Delphine. Just Feeney.
Yeah, just Feeney.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw that. So that's well, did I show? I guess I missed the Persian. Where was she? Oh, I'm sorry. I must have just because she was cat of the week last week.
Oh,
So she's saying, "Why did you not pick me?"
Still here.
oh my
Why are you
God! Look at
still
that
here?
pose. That is awesome.
Oh,
She's
Come on
all
by.
stretched out.
come on by.
Yeah, I guess I showed you. That's Kendall. I showed you. We were busy trying to figure out Lenny and Squiggy's last name, so I kind of forgot.
There you go. Well, there's all things PAWS. 815-299-PAWS is the number to get more information, or
And don't forget it
www.pawshf.org.
for the
All right. It is time for the big number of the. And our current race to 10 has Joann in the lead by a score of 4-3. Just a 1-point lead in our current race to 10. This week's big number of the week is a big one. It's 1 trillion. And the answer is waste or wear. Waste or wear. 1 trillion. I've got Tom's answer texted to me already. Joann, what do you guess? 3, 2, 1. Give me one. Go.
Where?
You're going to go with wear. Ooh, so one of you scoring a point, and one of you is not. We have a study finding billions of tons of food going to waste every year without even reaching a consumer's plate. A study found that retailers often throw food away for aesthetic reasons. Perishable items often spoil during transportation, during storage, during refrigeration. Retailers and consumers are guilty of buying more than they need, to the tune of about $1 trillion worth every single year. That's right. Waste is the answer this week. Congratulations. Tom has now tied the score at 4. The wear story that was popping up this week had to do with our tires on our car. The amount of tire wear particles that come off of cars and trucks every year is estimated to be 6 million tons. According to The Verge, they cited data from Imperial College in London, who was studying just how much rubber tire wear come off our tires every year. They estimated somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 million tons. How about that?
There's no way they could ever even come close to that. How would they know?
I have no idea.
But you won, Tom, so
Actuarial tables, the same people that charge us for insurance rates, right? It's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. As I mentioned, next week is In Crowd Week. Elevated Health Essentials will be on the show, and Mosaic, and maybe even somebody from Wild Cherries and Belvedere as we get ready for the December 6th annual In Crowd fundraiser event for Mosaic, and looking forward to that. Remember, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same and meet you back here next week. Tom and I are going to stick around and talk a little bit of Packers football after we let Joann go.
Bye, Joann.
But, yeah.
See you later.
You should stick around and talk Packer football.
Say hi to everybody at PAWS for us, Joann.
All right.
Have a great week. There goes Joann. Tom's all excited, as I am, because the Green Bay Packers are finding themselves, Tom. They are finding who they are. Even without Aaron Jones in the lineup, if you'd have told me they could win against the Lions without Aaron Jones, I would have said no. I told you last week. What was my prediction? 30-20 Lions. I was wrong. I was way wrong.
Yeah.
What a game.
What did I predicted they would win? And I don't remember what the prediction was.
It was like a 29-22 or something 20-20 something score.
29-22. Yeah, there you go.
20 something to 21. I forget what it was.
I think I might have said like 27-21 or 26. I don't remember, but I do remember I predicted them to win. Only because I'm the eternal optimist. Do I really believe that the Packers are going to beat Detroit? No, I didn't think I did. But I have trouble. I have trouble picking against the Packers because I think they have a chance to win every week.
You and James Jones. James Jones on the radio. He's always like, I'm picking the Packers. They're going to find a way to win.
Yeah. I love James Jones.
He's a great guy.
Here's something. Well, go ahead. Well,
I was just going to say, I forgot the score was 29-22. That was the final.
Right.
Because they did give up a score at the end there. But
yeah, they gave up a cheapie at the end, and I was not real happy about that.
Yeah. So, Rashawn Gary.
Man.
He is, I knew he was the real deal before this game, but after this game, everyone knows he's the real deal because they saw him on national television.
Yep. He is an absolute bona fide stud. Now, let's go ahead and get one more linebacker. Get him later in the draft because you have more important things in the beginning of the draft. Go out and get another stud linebacker. There are plenty out there to shore up that middle. Devondre Campbell's the middle linebacker, but I mean, for the other side, you've got Campbell, you've got Rashawn Gary, still young. Go out and get another one. Before that, you go offensive line and you go defensive line. If you can get a crazy, What's that?
Offensive line, I think, has got to be the priority in the next draft.
It has to be. With free agency, waiver wire, and draft, you get offensive line help. You go out and get the biggest, baddest, smelliest studs you can find. And then you work on a defensive lineman. And I think defensive line through the waiver wire, well, the trade or what, a free agency, something like that is where you pick somebody up. Get a couple of guys that are maybe seasoned veterans that have been around for a few years that are good. You're not going to get great for a cheaper price,
No.
but there are good guys that can complement you, that can complement your team. Then you go after a bona fide running back, not a veteran running back. They wear out after 6 or 7 years. You go find yourself one of those crazy little spider monkey types, like a David Montgomery type or a yes.
Yeah.
And get one of those kind of running backs that can just, squirt around and get you 5 or 7 yards just by making a cut, something along those lines.
Well,
That's what the Packers need.
we're as I was ready to kind of write this season off as just a growing season. Oh, you realize that the wide receivers that the Green Bay Packers currently have on their team as a group, all the wide receivers on the Packers are paid less than what Alan Lazard is getting from the New York Jets.
Wow.
Lazard's getting $49 million this year. I think the Packers receivers all total is like what, 30 something million. It's not even close.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, they're just way overpaid for Alan Lazard because they put all their eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket.
Yeah.
And that's fine as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy. But he's a 39-year-old guy. He's 40 now in December. So he's going to be 41 come December next year if he plays this next year.
Yeah, and I think he will. I think he's coming back.
Well, he will. He's rehabbing. He's actually talking about playing 2 Sundays from now,
Right. We'll see.
which I think is a bad idea, especially for a team that is. What are the Jets now? 5-7, 5-8.
Are they 4-8 or 5-8?
I something like that. Pretty bad.
They could still squeak into the playoffs. It's still a long shot, but yeah, they just don't have a quarterback.
I think the Red Sea has to part and all the other NFL teams have to fall in. I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway,
Kansas City is in Lambeau next week on Sunday, the December 3rd. Then the Packers travel to New York to play the Giants on Monday Night Football. I wonder if that game will get flexed out.
No. The Packers and the New York, they don't usually flex out a Monday night game. They'll flex out a Sunday night game.
All Monday night games are now available to be flexed. This was the first week that they're open to be flexed. And so basically what that means is if the teams scheduled to play Monday night are completely out of the playoff hunt, they're going to flex.
Okay.
They're going to put it back on a Sunday.
Okay. I see that. That makes sense. I did not know that. That's incredible. Okay, so and to put another set of teams in there, it wouldn't be hard to figure out. But I would think that with it being the New York market and the Green Bay Packers with their surge, I would think they'll keep that game.
Tampa Bay comes to Lambeau on December 17th. Christmas Eve day, Sunday noon, the Carolina Panthers host the Packers. So there will be no Christmas Eve in Lambeau. It'll be Christmas Eve in North Carolina. The Vikings on New Year's Eve at Minnesota. And then they close out the season with the Bears coming to Lambeau, which could be an important game. The Bears obviously are not getting anywhere near the playoffs, but they're playing for a first pick in the draft. They're looking to lose. And the Packers might be playing for a wild card spot or even maybe possibly for the division.
I doubt that, but you never know. What you said in the pregame warm-up here is that this could have been the needle that, not to use to use my own words on this could be the needle that lets the air out of their balloon.
Yeah.
I think that's where you're going with that. And you're right. They may fall apart. I doubt it, but they may. I have said for the longest time.
So they might get this. They might see this as a chink in their armor and have a problem.
Yeah.
But
I have said from the beginning of this season, I've said I don't like Dan Campbell as a coach.
Yeah.
And he made some really stupid calls. Going for it on the 15-yard line on 4th and 2 or whatever.
They took a chance, and then that fake punt. That was just yeah. I'm like, they're lining up kind of strange here. Are they really going to punt the ball? Sure enough, they hiked it to the up back, and he had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I'm feeling way better about the Packers season as far as even having playoff contention. They're in the hunt. They have an easier schedule than most. If Jordan Love stays healthy,
yeah,
they have a shot.
There's no indication that he won't be healthy.
No,
he's a bona fide specimen. He's a very, very athletic quarterback. And I noticed a couple of things in this Detroit game. He started to hit his receivers in stride. He didn't underthrow a lot, which led to no interceptions. And I believe he's had no interceptions in the last 2 games. Or maybe he had a cheapie in the last game. I don't remember. I did not actually see a lot of that game last week. Yes, I did. It was a week before the Pittsburgh game.
I'm a big fan of the YouTube game recaps.
Okay.
That's how I watched last week's game. I went after the game a couple of hours later, not even a couple hours later. I don't know even who does it. I should subscribe to their channel if I don't already.
Is it the whole game?
It's a recap. So it's all the highlights. You can watch the whole game in about between 14 and 18 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you can get that. I've done that before. I do that a lot, actually. I didn't realize it was YouTube. But I'm going to ask you what you think of this. The very first loss they had was Atlanta, 25-24. They were up 4-12 in the fourth quarter with about 6 minutes left. They blew that game. And there was a bad spot by the refs where Jordan Love should have been this far away. You can't see. He should have been about a half a yard away, but they put him 2 yards away. Packers went for it and missed. Had they look, Jordan Love's tall. He's 6'3". I think all he's going to do is fall forward, and you got your first down. That ices the game. Packers kick a field goal, 28 to whatever the score was at the time of that. Packers win that game. Okay. The Denver game, they shouldn't have lost. The Las Vegas Raiders game, they shouldn't have lost. They lost on bad calls, bad plays. The Pittsburgh game, that really horrible call. Where was it a backward pass or was it, there wasn't enough evidence to call stands? Those are 4 games. Let's just say they win 2 of them. They are then 7-4. 7-4, having just beat Detroit. They're 1 game out of first place.
Yeah.
That's how close this team is. I'm not saying that the Packers have been screwed. It's called the NFL. It's the no fun league. It's the refs are making too much more of it than anything else. You are what your record is, the 5-6. No big deal. Let's just win out and see what happens. I don't expect the Packers, by the way, to go deep in the playoffs if they even make the playoffs. What I'm saying is what you look at their body of work from day one to right now. They're a much better team than we thought they were 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. Much better team. They lost some very close games that they shouldn't have won. They are good enough to win out and maybe win a game in the playoffs. Will they go farther than that? Probably not. No. Will they even win a game in the playoffs? Maybe not. Who knows? So right now, I'm liking what I see.
I didn't expect them to do as well as they did against the Detroit Lions wide receivers. I didn't think our defensive backs were going to rise to the challenge, and I was thankfully wrong. They really did. And Owens, who I was weighed down on a week ago, man, did he show up? He actually tackled. He missed that tackle against the Chargers. That was horrible. And luckily it didn't cost him the game, but it could, in another situation it could have. So this last game.
All right. So I personally put in a call to Chester Markle to see if he could come back and be our kicker for the rest of the season. For those of you who don't know that name,
he would be about 71 now?
Probably, but I still like his chances over Anders Carlson. Come on, you missed an extra point. You missed a field goal. This is the reason. There's been a couple of games, at least one game for sure, that they lost because of him.
I think
because he either missed.
I think I have Anders Carlson in the same category that I had Christian Watson in earlier. So a young guy with crazy physical skills who I think is going to figure it out.
Okay.
So I'm still in the Carlson camp. I still want him there.
Okay, so the crazy physical skills, where do his kickoffs go? 2-yard line, maybe 2 yards deep. They run back a lot of his kickoffs. And that's the sign right there that was one of the knocks on Mason Crosby.
He's got a leg. I don't know. I think he's got more. He's got quite a bit of leg.
He missed, they tried to kick that 63-yarder. I loved it. I thought it was a good kick. It was right on, but it was about 5 yards short. So his range is about 52 to 56, 57. That's his range. If you got a 55-yard kick, fine, go for it. Maybe, depending on the situation. Not the end of the game unless that's your last play. End of the half, if it's your last play, fine, go for it. Rather than a Hail Mary. If you're down by 2 or 3 or something, you're looking to either tie it or go ahead by 1. But I don't like his accuracy. And that's, I think, the problem. And I think Mason Crosby was the most accurate kicker in Green Bay Packers history. And, of course, Crosby is, I don't know, he's been out now all year. I don't know if bringing him back would be a good idea. However, if Anders Carlson trips and falls and, twists an ankle, you'll see Mason Crosby back in the Packers uniform.
He's been kicking. He went out to, was it LA or somewhere to try out for a team that needed a kicker. So he's on the radar. He's still out there
and he's still listed as a Packer on fantasy football. They list him as a Packer and he's out. NA, not applicable or whatever. Right. Not available, I believe is what it is. Not available because he's not technically part of a roster, but he's still listed as a Packer. So I like what I'm seeing. And I think this Kansas City game, I'll say it right now, you can write it down. In fact, I hope you do. Make a mental note, make a physical note, whatever. If the Packers beat the Chiefs, that will be 3 quality wins in a row. And you will, of course, have had a good game from Jordan Love. They're not going to win unless Jordan Love has a good game, just like they didn't win unless Aaron Rodgers had a good game. Those games that they lost with Aaron Rodgers in the last 5 to 7 years are because Aaron Rodgers threw the ball away and held the ball too much, did something stupid. So if Jordan Love has a good game, I think the Packers can match up against the Chiefs. If they win that game, they go to the playoffs. That's my bold
statement. Chiefs are struggling. The Chiefs are in Struggleville right now. Their receivers can't balls, and it
is in Lambeau, and it will be cold. Although Kansas City's cold too, so that's not really an advantage. But if they win that game, they're now 6-6
in Green Bay next week.
What's that?
Will Taylor Swift be in Green Bay next weekend?
Oh, well, those press boxes are warm, so yeah, probably.
That's right. I'm sure there's somewhere you can bet on that. If you're looking to place bets on that, you could probably bet on that.
Oh, you probably could. My answer is I couldn't care less.
I couldn't care less either. Good.
Maybe her and Travis Kelce will both run off to the Bahamas for a weekend getaway or something. It'd be nice if he wasn't playing. I don't want him to be injured. Just like, take a mental health day or something. Come on, Travis. You owe it to the city of Green Bay. No, I don't care. Bring on Travis. Who cares?
They're going to show up. They're going to show out because they're in Green Bay, and that's a special rivalry. The Kansas City Chiefs, Green Bay Packers, Super Bowl 1.
Super Bowl ever.
I was so sure that Super Bowl 50 was going to be a rematch of Super Bowl 1, and it just didn't happen for us, which I hated that. All right, so next week, as I mentioned, we've got an in-crowd week. I've got something to tell you off the line, so hold on when we're done shutting down, Tom.
All right, I got something to ask you, too.
All right, so next week, join us for in-crowd week on the Saturday Morning Stateline show. You change the world when you help one person, so be a blessing to someone today and all this week, and we'll do the same. Meet you back here next week. Goodbye, everybody.